Good morning, everybody. Trippin' Sister here, and
the striking Viking.
we're getting a late start this morning. We're leaving. Where are we?
Sheridan,
Sheridan.
Wyoming.
I'm telling. I can't keep up with. It's a blur. It's a blur, and the only thing that separates different states is a sign in the road. So, sometimes it doesn't even look like you left where you had been.
Although there are more cowboys and pickup trucks here.
They sure are, and they give you a good old howdy. Tip their hat, and there you go. So, we had an exciting morning. Tell them what happened, Mr. Viking.
Well, I got up this morning fairly early, as a matter of fact. The sister was getting her beauty sleep, and I managed to get up and make them coffee and make some oatmeal for us and do some tidying up and get everything ready before we hit the road. And as is my usual habit,
his usual habit,
I did the walk around just to check and make sure that there were no flat tires or other nuisances to delay our departure.
Do the walk of life.
And as I had a look around, I found that somebody had come and in a random and totally random and incomprehensible act of vandalism had severed the wires that go from the coach back to the trailer. It doesn't make any sense. Why would somebody do that? And it was quite clear that they had been cut with a knife and the end of the plug end was missing. Fortunately, I carry spares, so I got out my little bag of tricks, my tools, and I went to work and I started making and splicing all the connections, putting them back together, and I got them all reassembled, and it was a thing of beauty, a joy to behold, until I went to connect them and I realized that I had spliced the wrong connector on the end of the wires. There was no way in which it would plug in.
Good morning, everybody. Trippin' Sister here, and
the striking Viking.
And we are leaving Sheridan, Wyoming, on our way to Billings, Montana, which we'll get there later today because
it's not very far.
Oh, he says it's not very far. We'll get there later than what we had been pulling in the last couple of days to our destinations between 10 and 11 in the morning. And having the whole day to just chill out and all that. So, but today it'll be a little bit of a later day. Get there early afternoon, I suppose. But we had an exciting morning. Tell them what happened, Mr. Viking.
Well, I got up early this morning and I made the coffee and I made the oatmeal and I had started putting things away and I was getting ready when the Trippin' Sister got up. And we had our oatmeal and I went to do the walk around, as is my usual habit before we go to leave. I want to check
the walk of life.
Check and make sure that there are no miscellaneous problems. And I found that in a random and totally senseless act of vandalism, somebody had cut through the wires that lead to the trailer lights. I can't imagine why somebody would want to do that. Well, I do have a suspect in mind. I was talking with a fellow who owns a newer and a much more expensive coach than ours, and he was bitterly complaining about things going wrong with his coach all the time and how expensive it was. And I said, well, there you go. So perhaps he went, well, there you go. Anyway, I have no proof of it. I just suspect that it was him. I can't think of why anybody would want to do that. In any case, I carry spares. So I got my little bag of tricks. I got my tools out and I started connecting and reconnecting and splicing and sealing. And I got the wires all connected. It was a thing of beauty, a joy to behold. It was pristine. It was like one of the old masters. And I went to connect it, and I connected the wrong end of the plug to the wire. So I had to cut the wires again, go back, resplice, reconnect, and finally, when I got it all done, got it rearranged, got it plugged in, works like a charm. I'm very pleased, with the exception of the fact that we're leaving an hour and a half later. Well, that's just the way it goes when life on the road, sometimes things happen. In any case, we're headed for Billings, Montana today, and you can see the sun coming up over the Beartooth Range as we're headed north through Wyoming and into Montana. And there's really only one thing that we would advise you to do above all else, and that is keep tripping!